Hello again, digital artists. I'm going to show you today how to do a quick overlap effect in your imaging by using a selection and copy paste and layer process. So I'm going to go over here to File, Open, and I'm going to find an image that I already had in mind, which is this library. This will bring it into your workspace as an already sized image. You don't have to set parameters for the project. But I also want to bring in another image of a cartoon character. So I'm going to choose Open in Place so that it brings it in on top of the existing workspace. So I'm looking for Louise Belcher from Bob's Burgers. All right. Some things that you might notice, there's one of these little symbols down here in the bottom of this thumbnail, and that means that it is a smart image. A smart image is something, or smart object, excuse me, something that you can drag bigger and you can drag smaller, and Photopea will retain the pixel information about the image. If you rasterize it, it becomes only pixel based, and it will blur if you try to blow it up. So I am going to not do that. I am going to edit and transform this, but I want it to stay the right dimensions. So this is creating a new layer. I don't want to do that. Let's make sure I'm off of my pen tool. That will help. Okay. Edit, free transform. There we go. So I'm going to hold Shift, drag this open so that she doesn't get short and weird or too tall and skinny. About to that size. Well, actually, I think I want her to be a little bit bigger, and her ears are just going to kind of stand up off the top a little bit, which is fine. I'll place her right about there. So you are going to need to eliminate the background from your Louise image, and there are a number of ways to do this. We've covered quite a few of them. You need to start making decisions for what is going to be the best technique to remove your background depending on the image you have. So if it's a high contrast image, or if your subject is a really nice, clean geometric shape, or it's something that you're going to have to trace with the pen tool, you're going to have to kind of make those decisions based on individual situations. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead with the magic wand, and it's going to select anything that is the same color as the pixel that I selected here. And you can increase or decrease your tolerance as needed. All right, so at this point, I do need to rasterize it, and I'm done changing the size, so I don't have any issue with that. And don't forget to deselect. Oops, I didn't miss that centerpiece there. Deselect. Okay, so I've got her the right size. I have a background layer and a Louise layer. And what I want is for these books here on the foreground of the library image to look like it's in front of Louise, and the bookshelf in the back to appear like it's behind her. So what I'm going to do is select Louise's layer. I'm going to turn the opacity down so that I can still see the book behind her. I'm going to go to the background layer, choose my pen, not the free pen, the regular pen. And I am going to zoom in so it's a little bit easier for me to work and identify these curves on the book. Now, it may be your inclination to trace around the entire book, which you can. There's no reason why you can't. But the only area that I really need is the area that I'm going to sit on top of her shirt here. So remember that when you were using the pen tool, the first anchor point you can click and release. But the second anchor point, and every anchor point after that you're trying to create a curve, you need to click, hold, and drag, and that will open up your handlebars. Adjust your handlebars to adjust the curve. Okay, once you like it, release, and then you have to go to Alt and click on the blue anchor point to remove one handlebar. Don't forget to do that, and of course you are going to need a mouse for that step. The Chromebook touchpad does not have the function that you will need to do that step. So I am just kind of going around this book, matching the curve as best as possible. And try not to stop your pen tool path and start something else, because it can be kind of an issue to pick up on the path if you've not yet finished it. Okay, so I've come across as far as I need to. I'm just going to cut down, and I don't have to have a curve at this point, so I can just click and release and it'll draw a straight line. which is fine. And I'm going to make sure that I am right on top of that anchor point, and it says closed path over here, because it's easy for that to not happen. All right, so I have my shape made. I need to right click on it and select pixels. That's going to give me a selection based on that pen tool path that I drew. That anchor point could probably slide up a little bit. Let me deselect this. If you need to make any adjustments to anchor points, you can go to your direct select tool, and that will allow you to adjust your anchor point or your handlebars to change that curve. There we go. I like that better. All right, back to select pixels. When I click on the background layer, you will not see the blue line anymore, or your anchor path. You're only going to see that selection dotted line. So if I command copy, start a new layer, and command paste, which for you guys, I believe is control copy, start a new layer, and control paste, you should see, well, you might not see anything depending on the order of your layers. So if you don't see anything, but you do see that in the history, you see the paste here, you should be able to drag your layer to the top, and it will sit right on top of Louise's shirt here and create the overlapping effect. Now, if your blue pen line seems to be interfering with your selection, if when you copy and paste, it keeps trying to copy the path instead of what's inside of it, you may need to go over here to path. If there's like a work path that shows up here, delete it, come back to your layers, reselect, and redo your layer. That is something that happens sometimes. Okay, so let me zoom back out. I'm going to select Louise layer and increase that opacity back to 100%. I don't need this shape anymore. It's still there in case I need to go back and reference it, but once you're done with it, you can delete it if you don't need it anymore. All right, and now I have an overlapping effect where I have placed Louise into this sense of space, and that is what we're going to be moving forward with. So give it a shot, and I will see you guys next time.